This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Holzman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dudes Who Bet Sports Show, a special Sunday edition of the show here. And we got a lot of NFL games going on, so we'll kind of start with that. It's been a wild weekend, NFL and college football. Had good horse racing as well. It's kind of be a variety show here today as games are going on, and Remington Park's running their big Oklahoma Derby card. We got that going on as well. So we got a lot going on in the background here as we kind of go through and react to what we saw. Do you want to kick it off with the NFL?
I think so. I feel like we're on ESPN kind of here. You know, we're going down with the scoreboard and everything. We've got games going, and this is going to be an exciting show, I think. So, yeah, we can well start with them because there's, 4 games in progress right now, I think?
Yes, 4 games going on. I'll go ahead and pull up the screen right now. Whoops, there it is. Let's just start with the games that are going on.
Okay.
Because they're kind of settled. We'll see what happens here. It looks like they're kind of settled as the Rams fumble on the 1-yard line, giving the Cardinals life. Okay, but we'll start with Jacksonville and the Chargers. Are we about ready to say Jacksonville is decent? This was really impressive. They went to LA and crushed the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm ready to call this one. This one's over.
It's over, yeah, but I mean, is this Jacksonville team decent?
I think so. There's 2 ways to look at it. They're decent, or are the Chargers horrid, or is it a little both? Obviously, the Chargers are the Chargers. They can't get up for games they have to win.
Yeah.
And, they came off that tough loss to the Chiefs and obviously took this one for granted, either that or Jacksonville is just really good. And because look what Jacksonville's done the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They beat the tar out of Indianapolis, and then to go out to California and put a whooping on this team like this is pretty impressive. I don't know how injured Herbert is. He's obviously playing. I see he's still in the game. Why in the hell is he still in the game if he's hurt?
Yeah. Down
28 points with 3:46 to go. Tell me, what do you gain by that? I don't get it.
I was surprised that he played. I don't think it's been all his fault. He hasn't looked great, but I think he's hurt. And like I said, they can't stop him.
No.
That's been the big thing. Jacksonville has just moved up and down the field on him the whole game. So I don't know. I think the Jaguars are pretty good. If you remember last year, I said, hey, look, they're not terrible
right.
talent-wise. They got a little better in the offseason. They got a NFL coach. So I don't know. They may be okay.
Well, this quarterback, we've said it repeatedly on this show, he's can't miss. He really is.
Yeah.
And he's got a better offensive line around him, some weapons. Look out for them. They're in a very weak division, and they could make some noise. I think they've got to be one of the big surprise teams, and the Chargers are a surprise team the other way so far.
Yeah, so far for sure. I can go ahead and call that one final, 38-10. A game that looked like it was going to be over was the Rams and the Cardinals. It was 20-9. The Rams were going in to score to make it 27-9. They fumble on the 1-yard line. Cardinals, and they got to go 97 to get this back to a 1-score game. Rams have controlled it throughout. Cardinals really should be 0-3 after they're going to eventually lose this game. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I saw a while ago, 4th and 4. They went for it instead of kicking a field goal. That could have made it a 1-score game. Yeah, it's a questionable call.
Mm-hmm.
I think you kick the field goal to make it a 1-score game because you haven't scored much. 9 points. They didn't get it. And then the Rams marched it down and fumbled it. And they have kept them in the game. So you can't count them quite out yet because Murray pulled that magic last week. But this is a whole different animal they're playing against today. So we'll keep an eye on this one because we can't quite call this one yet.
No, can't call it yet. Cardinals are trying to make a drive here to try to get this game back to a 1-score game. The surprising thing about this Cardinals game is they have not been able to score whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but they really have not scored much other than the second half of the game last week. So
they play terrible at home.
They kind of play terrible everywhere.
But offensively, they're not very good at home.
No.
I don't know. You check back through last year, they were bad at home on offense. So I don't, they're not going to be very good, I don't think. The Rams really need to hold on and win this one. They're back going good if they can do it. So
yeah, they look good. Be back at 2-1 or 2-1. All right, how about this one? The Falcons and the Seahawks. It's not a glamorous game as far as these teams aren't very good, but it's close. It's 27-23. The Falcons just fumbled the ball, and the Seahawks have got it in Falcons territory. 5 minutes to go here. This would be a big win for Seattle. I don't know that they're going to be competitive long term, but to get to 2-1 would be big. Yeah,
let's say, they would be tied for first no matter what happens the rest of the time in the West.
Yeah.
Now, again, they haven't done anything yet, and they haven't won this game yet. So I'm sure I'm glad I did not bet the under on this because I thought this had a shot to go under. I think that was 42 maybe was the line, something like that, and they're already at 50. This kind of surprised me. They've scored this many points. Both
teams have been able to move it. Yeah. There's no doubt. As I say that, Geno Smith just took a big sack that's going to knock them back quite a ways. But yeah, the Falcons, Mariota hasn't been awful for the Falcons. So that's been good to kind of see him here. And we'll see if Seattle can kind of make a comeback here. They're trying. They got a 3rd down and 7. It looks like 4 minutes to go. I'll keep an eye on that one. As we go to this one, Packers and the Buccaneers, it's been a snooze fest. Defensive game. It's going to hit the under. We talked about it this morning. 42 was the over-under. And, we're at 20 right now with 3 minutes to go in the game. Tampa Bay has no offense in this game whatsoever.
No, they have no receivers, Aaron. They just don't have any. I've never heard of these guys. Have you?
No.
Each I've heard of him, but they've fumbled the ball. If your quarterback doesn't have anybody that can get open and can separate and make a play, he's really hampered. And, Brady still looks to me like he throws the ball well. The other thing Tampa doesn't have, Fournette is a bulldog. He's a tough guy, but he can't break it.
No,
they don't have a breakaway threat back there. They are really hampered on offense right now with no weapons.
They were struggling with that breakaway threat even, with the first 2 games that they won and they were full strength. They were kind of struggling with that as well, I thought. They look bad in this game, and not having Mike Evans, it's a huge blow.
It really hurts. And the Chris Godwin, he's out too, right?
Yep.
Evans got suspended. Godwin's hurt.
Yeah.
Those are 2 really good receivers. And Gronk didn't come back this year, and that hurts them. The other thing, I don't think Green Bay looks good either. They're not. They're letting Tampa Bay kind of hang around in this game.
Yeah, Green Bay has not been able to move the ball much either.
No, it has been a boring game.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, are they a little vulnerable? They might be. I don't know.
I think so. I think the overarching theme of this show is going to be there's not a lot of standout teams.
The thing about Green Bay, they have a very difficult schedule.
Yeah.
And I don't know how good they are. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I don't know.
You just win and move on to the next week. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, they know how to win, and that's the good news about them. All right, we'll keep an eye on those games here. I'll alert anybody if anything big happens.
Okay.
Let's wind it down. Let's go on and let's talk about the games that have already happened. Okay. This was a good game to kick it off. The Bears and the Texans, 23-20. The Bears win it. Texans kind of gave it to them late. I mean, even though the Bears won, are there really any kind of hopes for the Bears? This was an ugly win against the Texans.
I don't think so, but they did win, and that's 2. And there's a lot of teams that don't have 2. They do. They'll be playing a weak schedule because they got a last place team schedule. So, they seem to just be able to beat let's face it, Houston might be bottom 4 at least. Yeah. So I don't think there's a lot to get excited about with the Bears, but a win's a win. And that's what I was going to say about Green Bay. They're not impressive, but I think when you looked at the schedule before this season and they got to go to Tampa, you're thinking that might be a game they lose, and it looks like they're going to win it. So No, I don't think the Bears will win more than 6 or 7. They play hard, though. They always do. And they'll beat somebody they're not supposed to. But, yeah, just take 2-1 right now and be happy.
So we've hit the 2-minute warning in the Tampa Bay Green Bay game. It's 14-6. Tampa Bay is on the Green Bay side of the 50, so they're moving the ball here in this situation. We'll see what happens with that. And it looks like Seattle is at about the 25 as they try to, and it's 2-minute warning there. So we got 2 games coming down to the wire. I'll keep an eye on those as we go on. The Titans and the Raiders. This was a really good game. For a long time, it looks like a blowout for the Titans. It was definitely a get-right game. The winner was going to be, maybe not get completely right, but at least could move on and have a season, so to speak, with a shot.
Yeah.
The Titans were able to do it. Raiders charge back late, couldn't get it done. Are the Raiders officially dead?
Well, I don't know how you come back. The only thing is that AFC West that we thought was going to be so good suddenly doesn't look good.
No.
I know we've only played 3 games. That's way too soon. But you go down 0-3, it is so hard to come back and make the playoffs. And their early season schedule was fairly tough, but they let that game get away last week, and that's going to come back to haunt them. Tennessee showed what they're about. They won. Maybe they shouldn't have, but they did. And they're in a very weak division, but they don't look good. That's for sure.
No, they don't. They don't whatsoever. I don't know what the deal is with the Raiders. They just look off. They can't do anything.
No.
They can't move the ball, and they go through long stretches where they can't move the ball. So
Yeah.
I don't really understand what happened to this Raiders team, but they don't look good. Devontae Adams, so much bet on him to get over the yardage. They barely threw him the ball. He did get a touchdown, but they barely even threw him the football today. So I don't know. Tennessee, it's a big win, but they still have a long ways to go.
The thing with this deal is not throwing the ball to Adams. Why are you paying him all that money if you're not going to throw him the ball?
Yeah.
Maybe he's not open. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really, really weird. Moving on here, let's go to this one, the Chiefs and the Colts. This game here, you can't be more disappointing than the Chiefs were in this game. They played atrocious in this football game. They get beat 20-17. I thought the Colts played awful in this game as well and won. Oh,
they tried every way to lose.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs just wouldn't win the game. Just, let them hang around, and it was not good. And this is 2 weeks in a row now. We've seen the Chiefs offense really be stagnant, and they have some issues. We knew they were going to miss Tyreek Hill. I mean, anybody that's got a brain can see that. They don't have anybody but Kelsey right now. That's proven, and they can't run the ball. They don't have a running game, and teams are catching up with Mahomes a little bit. And this is a shocker to me. But I didn't bet it because I'm getting to figure out Vegas more and more as I do this.
Yeah.
That line was just too obvious because the Chiefs, you would have thought, would have rolled them, and they didn't. And so that's a bad loss, in my opinion.
It's a horrible loss for the Chiefs. And unfortunately, week 1, Chiefs look great, but we're seeing that everybody looks great when they play Arizona. And week 2, they played awful, and they should have lost, and they got very lucky that they won. And they played awful again today, and they lost. And it's becoming concerning to me that Mahomes, he doesn't look the same that he looked the first 3 years. I mean, last year I thought he was good, not great. This year, he doesn't look very good. And that's if he is not a superstar, they are not that good.
No, there's no doubt. They don't have as good of players as they've had. Here's the thing. He's not scrambling and making plays with his feet, right? You think that's intentional? They've told him not to do that, to try to protect, but that's what he is.
Yeah.
That's what makes him so dangerous. Last year they got off to a horrible start too, but it was mainly because their defense was playing awful. This year, their defense isn't playing that bad. They're not. It's their offense this year.
Yeah.
So they got issues. Remember, I think they started 3-4 last year, and then they got on a roll.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't count them out for sure. They're 2-1. They're still in good shape.
Yeah, they are, but they're not what they were,
No.
and that's
And
the
their
thing. Like
schedule
they
is
were not unbeatable, but they were close. And now they're another NFL team. That's how I described them last year. They're just another,
Yeah.
team that's out there.
They're not
There's nothing
scary.
special about them.
And they've got they go to Tampa next week, and with Tampa banged up, I don't know. Then they got Vegas at home, but then they got Buffalo coming into Kansas City. They're not on a par with Buffalo right now. And then they got to go to the 49ers. And they've still got the Chargers again. They got the Rams. Cincinnati got a little better today. So they've got some tough games coming up along the way if they don't get this straightened out. But they straightened it out last year and got to playing. So they're still 2-1, and that's better than the majority of the teams in the league right now.
Yeah. So update here, the Falcons have won. The Falcons stopped Seattle. They intercepted them. The Falcons have won.
Good.
Talking about Tampa, they've looked awful, right? This whole game.
Yep.
They're within 2 yards of making it 14-12. There's 26 seconds on the clock. So Tampa with a shot to pull off a win here somehow.
Well, what have we seen all through sports? Green Bay left them in the game.
Yeah.
They kept them where they had a shot, and you can't do that with a team.
Absolutely. We're looking on here also at, let's see, Arizona, about a minute to go. They still haven't scored, so that's pretty much over.
That's pretty much over.
Tampa ran the ball on first down, did not get it. They're going to have to call a timeout or do a hurry up here. Looks like a timeout. 20 seconds to go, be second and goal. All right, let's move on. We'll talk about this. Was a great game. The Bills and the Dolphins. Tua gets hurt in this game, somehow comes back. Looks like he had a concussion. I guess he didn't because he came back into the game later on. But the Miami defense is the reason for the victory. How about that?
Yeah.
They hold the Bills to 19. They had to hold them away from field goal range. Incredible. They were able to pull this off.
It was. And this was a spirited early season battle, wasn't it?
I text Samich because Samich loves the Dolphins. I text him after. I was like, I don't know that you guys are winning next week because I think they left it all on the field this week.
Well, Buffalo was the same way. I mean, Allen was just sick after that game. I don't know whether he saw the embrace with him and Tua after the game. He was almost like he was crying. The offensive guys in the booth destroyed his tablet or whatever that is up there, just threw it and tore it to pieces up in the booth.
Yeah.
This was a very, very spirited game for an early season game where the loser, was still really in good shape. But the Dolphins were out to prove something, and they're pretty good. And the Heat might have got to Buffalo a little. I don't know. They just couldn't make enough plays there to get in field goal range to win it.
So I'm going to update everybody. I thought, what is going on? There's no comments. There's always comments on the show. We're not seeing your comments. For whatever reason, they're not working. I got on our actual YouTube page, and now I see all of them. So we're not ignoring you guys. They're not coming through on our end. So
I wonder what's going on.
I don't know. I think we've got a software issue going on with our StreamYard because usually all your comments pop up. Let's see.
Does one of us need to go to the YouTube page and do I need to go to that maybe? Or
no, I'll be able to. Yeah. Very weird. I don't know what's going on. I'm checking on it now, and I don't know. So yeah, I'll keep an eye and I'll read off some of them if I see any.
Yeah.
Not ignoring you guys. We have literally not gotten any. So okay, let's get back here to this because I thought I see that people are watching it. It's like that's weird. All right, so it's a 3rd and goal for Tampa in this situation here. 3rd down and goal. We'll cover this just real quick.
Sure.
Boy, Dolphins 3-0. That was a very impressive. Let's see if Tampa can stay undefeated. See what happens here. And it went blank. Well,
They
that's nice.
scored.
Oh my God.
They scored.
They scored. Okay, so they did score.
They got to get the 2-point conversion.
12 seconds to go.
Yeah, but Sandy, they got to get the 2-pointer.
I know
Yeah, they did score. It'll be 14-12. So I've got it back now. Here we go.
She loves Brady.
Well, that was a big one. I mean, I can't believe they're in this game. It's
Well, they left him in the game.
it's quite unbelievable.
Brady, I'd say it's over, but it's Brady. So.
All right, yeah, still 14-12. All right, we'll move on. Let's talk about the Lions and the Vikings. That's the next one on here. This was a great game. The Lions blew it, but they did cover, so we were right about that part of it. Lions and the Vikings score last second to win this thing, 28-24. Huge win for the Vikings.
Oh, it is. And again, poor old Lions. They just can't get over the hump, can they?
No.
They definitely are better. They just can't get over the hump, and that's a heartbreaker.
Yeah, they can't. And that was a game they had. It felt like they were going to win that game the whole time. They were plus 6.5, so that worked out as far as the spread goes. But it's really quite incredible that they just cannot close a game out. So
Did they score?
They didn't get it off. They're going to move back 5 years.
Oh, they got a penalty, delay a game.
well, that is not good. There's now it's coming through on my end, the 2-point attempt, and yeah, they did get a delay game.
You know what, though? That gives our receivers more room to operate.
Yeah, it does, but that's not what you wanted to see.
No, it's not the end of the world when you're down on the 3.
No.
You got to throw it anyway. So,
all right, Ravens and Patriots. Boy, this was a good game. This went back and forth a lot of different ways. The Ravens kind of tried to give it away. They couldn't really stop them at times. End of the day, they're just a little bit better than the Patriots. Big win for the Ravens. They needed that one.
oh, it's a good win for them. I thought this was really a good. They didn't make it, by the way.
Yeah, they did not make it. Brady threw a pass into the end zone, incomplete, and so the Packers are going to win. So that's the last game that we had going live right now.
This
Green Bay put a hand on it.
this
Green
this
Bay
was
blocked it.
okay.
Put
Oh,
a hand on it.
okay. This was I'm getting commentary here. This was a great game and a really good win for Baltimore. I think because I thought New England might win this. I think New England's got issues. I didn't see much of it, but 37 points, that's a lot of points. The Ravens are putting up points and they're scoring at will, but good win for them on the road in New England in a division that they certainly can win.
Yeah, I think this division runs through Baltimore. I really do. And if they can get short up defensively, they're going to be tough, I think.
Yep.
So
I agree.
I think that this thing goes through Baltimore. We'll kind of see how they play out. But, man, they just find ways to lose games. And that's the thing that is concerning about it for the Ravens. But they should be 3-0. Like you said, they blew that game against Miami. Then Miami goes and beats the Bills. So there's definitely hope for Baltimore. And I think they're going to be pretty tough in that division.
Me too.
The Bengals and the Jets are next. A 27-12 win over the Bengals win over the Jets. Huge win for Cincinnati. Yeah. It may have not been the most pretty thing you've ever seen, but it was a big win.
Yeah. Well, after 2 ugly losses, any win is great. And I think it shows a little character for them, to come in and pretty easily win this game. I think it shows that they've got some character. And I wouldn't write them off yet either.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I definitely wouldn't either. I think they're a team that, for whatever reason, they got off to a horrific start. It just terrible. Mm-hmm. They just played a heck of a lot better today.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. They just played a heck of a lot better. And they went in and took care of a Jets team that you thought might play decent, right? Yeah. But they didn't whatsoever.
And they covered.
Yeah. All right, Eagles 24, Commanders 8. This was never a game. They took care of business. The Eagles are now 3-0. Are they a really good team?
Okay, right now at this moment, we have only three out of 32 NFL teams after 3 weeks that are undefeated.
Yeah,
and one of them hasn't played yet. That's the Giants that play tomorrow night against Dallas. Who would have ever guessed the 3 undefeated teams after 3 weeks are the Miami Dolphins, which maybe you could have said them, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Giants. Unbelievable, isn't it?
It is.
And the Eagles look good. They just look good. They just cruised in the second half of this game, 24-0 at half. Jalen Hurts is playing great, and he's got weapons. Their defense is playing well. Now they haven't played great teams, but you know what? You got to beat these bad teams. Ask the Chargers, and ask some of these teams that haven't won. So they're in the driver's seat. I don't think they're top 3 in the NFC, but right now they are. I think you're looking maybe 10, 11, 6, 10-7 right now. You get off to a 3-0 start. You don't have to play very good the rest of the year to win 10.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the big key is what you said. If you play a bad team, you have to beat them in the NFL.
Yeah.
That separates like the good teams from just the average teams. And this was never in doubt. I mean, they had 24-0 and they kind of got bored.
Yeah.
See Jesse Santos comments and says that he definitely thinks that they are a solid team. And I think that they've proven it. And listen, the Giants are undefeated, but I'll take the Eagles over the Giants any day.
Yeah, and that's a big key too. How will they fare in their division? It's not that strong. They got 6 games in their division. If they win all 6 of those, they're going to win the division probably, and they don't have to win very many more to get to 10.
Yeah.
Who's to say that they can't win all 6 of those division games? Because Dallas is hurting. The Giants are beatable. No matter what happens tomorrow night, even if the Giants beat Dallas and they go to 3-0, they're beatable.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's a great start for the Eagles.
Definitely a good start for the Eagles. Panthers, how about that? The Panthers actually won. They won 22-14 today. They kind of dominated this one. I watched a little bit of this, and it's just like, are the Saints, are they like the worst team in the league? Like, they looked awful. I mean, really, really bad. Panthers didn't look great either. Thing about it is, I don't think Tampa Bay is very good, but I don't think they got any challenge in that division for these teams.
I don't think you have to be too good. It was 13-0 going into the fourth quarter. I mean, what is wrong with these NFL offenses? No one is lighting it up much.
Yeah.
And I saw Mayfield's numbers weren't any good. I'm assuming you watched most of the game.
Yeah.
What did they look like on offense?
Horrible.
They could easily be 2-1, 3-0.
That's what's weird about it. I mean, they could not have looked any worse, like visually watching them. And they've been in every game. A 58-yard field goal beat them week 1 by a guy that can't kick an extra point now.
Yeah.
Or they're 2-1, and they went to New York and they were right there with a chance and couldn't finish the deal. So they're bad. Like, they're not very good, but they are in games, and it's been surprising for sure.
Well, listen to the next 4 because this will define what they're going to be. That's why they needed that Cleveland game. They could be 2-1 going into these 4. They got Arizona in Carolina next week. They have to win that game. They have to.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Niners come in there. The Niners offensively at this point are not going to blow anybody away. So they could win that. They're not going to go to LA and win. They're not going to beat the Rams in Los Angeles. There's not. And then they got Tampa at home. Yeah. So best you can hope for really is 2-2 unless Brady gets hurt or something. You can't look at it that way. You just got to go one game at a time. That's the way.
But that's kind of what we were talking about. That's what separates a good team from just an average or not very good team is like when you get in those close games, you have to win them, and they haven't been able to do it.
If you follow a team in the NFL, you don't blow people out. You just don't. You rarely see a blowout.
No.
And key plays you got to make to win.
I agree. Vicky Felker in the chat, she said she
Hi,
put the
Vicky.
bad juju on Kansas City today. They needed Kelsey, and they were playing the Indianapolis defense in their fantasy league. So
Oh,
there
gosh.
you go. Yeah, Kelsey dropped a touchdown pass as well. That would have been huge for the Chiefs. Yeah, it's crazy. Chiefs are a crazy team, right? I did not see that coming today at all. So.
No.
All right, that's all that has happened. There is a Monday night game. We'll talk about that since we're doing the show today and not on Monday. Cowboys and the Giants, we've mentioned it a couple of times. Giants, like you said, one of only 3 undefeated teams left. They are only a 1-point favorite against the banged-up Cowboys. What do you think? I mean, the Giants should win this game.
They should.
What do you think?
Look at that over-under. 39.
I know.
Golly. And I don't know that I would bet the over. I don't know.
Yeah.
The way this NFL's going, these point totals are ridiculous. Yeah, they should win, but I'm not sure they will. Now, if you like them to win, just bet the money line.
Yeah.
Because 1 point, what the heck does that matter? I thought the quarterback for Dallas looked pretty good last week. I thought he played all right. Dallas's defense is really good. I give him a chance for sure to win this game.
Let me ask you this, and this may be a dumb question.
I doubt it.
Who would, if you're, let's say you're starting an NFL franchise and you can choose between Jones or Rush for your quarterback, who would you take?
Oh, that's my only 2, huh?
Yeah, it's only 2 you can select from.
Well, I haven't seen enough of Rush to really make a good observation, but let's say just on what I saw last week against the Bengals, I think I'd probably take a shot on him because I've seen 3 years of the other guy.
Exactly. I would take a shot with him as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy,
Well,
but I think I would.
Did you ever think you would say that Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the NFC East?
No,
And
never.
it's not even close.
No, it's not even a debate. Carson
And
Wentz.
even if Prescott was playing,
Yeah,
you still have to put him ahead of Jalen, but
no,
I don't know if the game is on the line. I would rather have Hurts.
I would rather have Hurts than Dak because he has not been very good the last couple of seasons, I don't think. And look, Daniel Jones, I think he tries, but
he does.
not very good.
I'm beginning to think Mac Jones isn't too good either.
He didn't play awful today, but
they gave up 37 points. So
yeah, he's just inconsistent, and he doesn't have like the strongest arm.
No, he does. He does not. You're right.
Yeah.
The thing about the Giants, I think the key to the game will be tomorrow night. Can they run the ball with Barkley? Can they run the ball?
Yeah.
If they can, I think they win. Because then Jones doesn't have to do a whole lot,
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, just like that, we now have the comments.
Okay, great.
So after 30 minutes, the comments have now loaded. We can actually see them. So there you go. Vicky said hello to you. Couldn't put that up on the screen. So I don't know what happened, but we're back, and we can display your comments again. So that's good.
That's fantastic.
Just in time for OU and Kansas State.
That's right. That's right.
All right, let's go on to the college game here. OU, K-State. We were there. K-State wins gate to wire, as we say in the horse racing side of things. OU never led in this game. K-State led almost the entire game. I think it got tied once at 17. What happened here?
Oh boy, we would have to start out for this one, right?
Oh yeah.
There were some great games yesterday, and we have to talk about this one. Well, we got exposed for sure. I've been in Twitter wars all day today.
Oh God.
And I know, stupid, but there are some stupid people out there, including me, for getting on Twitter. And I just got on there just to kind of see some people that I kind of respect. And one of them's lost his mind too. So
Who's that?
Clay Horning, who I really respect, who's a writer for the Norman paper, is all over Dylan Gabriel. And I don't think that's justified. A lot of people are on him, but I don't think it's justified. The problem is what it always is. When we get beat, what happens?
Yeah.
We cannot stop anybody when we have to. And this team that we have this year is not good enough to make a bunch of mistakes and to be able to overcome them. And they made mistakes at critical times. But what aggravates me, and I'm a coach, so if you guys disagree with me, rip me, I don't care. Because it's fine. I don't care if you do. But okay, the first 3 games, this is what got me so mad today. If they want to get on the quarterback, that's neither here nor there. First 3 games, what were they saying about our defense?
Yeah, how great it was.
And who was responsible for the defense?
Venables.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Brent Venables is in charge of the defense, and it's fabulous.
Right.
Now we get our ass handed to us last night, and we can't stop anybody. And guess whose fault it is?
I don't know.
The defensive coordinator, who's never been mentioned in the first 3 games.
So that did happen. You said on the ride home last night that would happen. Yeah.
All of them want him fired.
Right. All right. I will explain it. Very simple and very
Okay. I know that. I know. Go ahead.
You're just talking in circles about your Twitter wars there. I'm going to make this very clear. We aren't very good.
No.
The same players that played on defense last year are playing this year.
In a more expanded role.
The coaching can't solve that.
No.
They have to get better players.
Exactly.
Offensively, every player they have on offense is good, not great, right? Their offense is just going to be solid all year. It's not going to be
where I was going.
Now,
you can't overcome lack of players.
Here's what we learned. And we trick ourselves every year at OU thinking that defense is good, and it's not.
Yeah.
They learned last night they're just going to have to get in shootouts, and their offense has got to win the games for them, like always.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's going to happen, right? I mean, but OU's not very good.
They're not.
The best team won the game last night.
Oh,
they had better players than Oklahoma had, and that's what Oklahoma people cannot take. They cannot accept reality that Kansas State had better players than Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Period.
And they automatically think that if you're playing at Oklahoma, you're better than Kansas State.
And they're not
necessarily true.
Their quarterback made all the plays.
He made all the plays.
Made some plays.
Yeah. Their quarterback was far and away the fastest. Deuce Vaughn's probably faster. Oh, you did a decent job on him. But they couldn't stop the other guy. They couldn't stop them both.
Yeah.
Both of those guys are far and away faster than anybody we have on the team. All I had to do is watch the game. You can see it.
They have to get better players, period. I don't care if the best coach in the history of football is there. They can't make up for being too slow and not being able to cover guys and not being able to get off blocks. Oh, you just got to get better players. They're not very good. I watched the whole game live right there in the stadium, and I kept telling them, everybody's so mad and on the coaches. I was like, guys, they're not the better team.
No.
They have a better back than us. They have a better defense than us. The quarterback, they're comparable, but he's making more plays than ours.
Mm-hmm.
We're not good enough to beat them.
Yeah. And what happens is when you get in these shootouts and your quarterback can't go toe-to-toe to keep you ahead, then when he misses a play, it's magnified.
Exactly, because you can't stop him.
Right. But look, 34 points should have beat Kansas State. And the frustrating thing is they only scored 10 the week before Kansas State did.
Yeah.
They could have played all night and not scored 20.
Yeah.
They were awful. And they came out and again, that's coaching, and that's they changed a few things and they played better. And we could not get off the field. We made too many mistakes. And they're all over the defensive coordinator for the key play of the game, 3rd and 16, when he ran a quarterback draw.
Yeah.
Which I called from they weren't going to throw it.
No.
He ran a quarterback draw and wasn't touched for 50 yards.
Right.
And they say the defensive coordinator made the wrong defensive call. He didn't make that call. Brent Venables did.
Right.
Because there was a timeout and they talked over there. Venables made the call. They didn't execute the defense.
Right.
Plainly said in his press conference, we didn't have guys where they were supposed to be. Now players have to take responsibility to be where they're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because all you can do is put them in the right place. And if they're not there, then you make changes if you got anybody else to put in there.
Well, I think OU fans have run off, I don't know,
A lot.
6 defensive coordinators probably. One of them being the guy who is now the head coach. They ran him out of town.
Yeah.
And you know what they all had in common? They didn't have good enough players.
They don't.
It's really not complicated.
No.
They're gonna have to get better. They have to get better players.
And I feel really sorry for the quarterback because he is what he is. We're so spoiled down there. He's not Baker Mayfield. He's not Kyler Murray. He's not Jalen Hurts. By the way, all 3 of them are starting in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
This kid is what he is. He's good. He gives everything he's got. He's just not great.
No.
If we had a defense, he'd be fine.
Well, it's not just that. If you had a little bit better offensive line, if your backs were great and not just good, if you had better receivers,
we're not deep at receiver.
They don't have a ton of every player on their offense is he's okay. He's decent. Yeah, he's good. There's nobody on the offense you go, that's a great player.
No.
Right?
No.
So, and again, that's what happens. You get in a game like that where you can't stop anybody and your offense gets magnified and it's they're just decent. They're not great.
Well, and then you get all those penalties.
Yeah. But they're light years ahead of your defense. Your defense is a joke.
Yeah.
It's been for 10 years. And, even when it was 3rd and 17, we're sitting there talking, as they called that timeout. And I said, they're not going to stop them. We're not going to get the ball back. So you might as well forget it.
Well, you're right. I was scared to death too.
Yeah.
And
what did I tell you? I said, I've seen this movie enough.
Ball back. So it's an issue, and it's going to be one of those years that every game's going to be like this. And can you somehow win enough?
They can turn the season around because their mindset is going to totally flip to we got to score fast, we got to get to 50, and they will be able to outscore teams. I don't know how many of them, but they will rebound from that game.
Well, they're setting the foundation for down the road because our recruiting class is ranked third, which doesn't mean anything, but just ask Texas and Texas A&M every year.
Right.
But so, better players are coming. Just got to get through this year. The vibe down there is good. So I loved his press conference afterwards. He didn't sugarcoat it. He said we were poor. That's very refreshing to hear an OU coach say that because the others haven't. Even Stoops never would get on there and bash him much. He didn't bash him. He just said we were very poor. And guess what? That's the truth. So anyway, we'll see what happens.
Yep, we will see. We will see what happens. All right, let's move on. Georgia beat Kent State 39-22. This was an ugly win for the Bulldogs. I think they're probably just getting a little bored waiting for an actual opponent, don't you?
Definitely.
Alabama 55-3, no problem there. Ohio State 52-21. I thought there'd be a murder in Columbus, and there was. Wisconsin is on their way down.
I think so too, and Ohio State's starting to get in gear.
Yep, they're starting to hit their stride a little bit. This was closer than we thought. Maryland gave Michigan a pretty good game. This was Michigan's first game against anybody they could really play.
Yeah.
Michigan 34, Maryland 27. They're able to win. What's your takeaway from this one?
I'm pretty surprised that it was that close. They never could get away from them. Notice that fourth quarter, 17-14 in the fourth quarter. I don't exactly know the sequence of how they scored, but I know this following on the phone, that game was close throughout.
Yeah, we listened to a little bit of that. Michigan always kind of kept them within like 4 or 7 away from them, but it was once they got the lead, I should say, but it was close for a while.
Yeah.
It was a good game.
And a good effort for Maryland. I mean, they showed something.
Yeah, we'll see if they're able to build on that and have a little bit better season than what they're used to there at Maryland. We'll move on. Clemson and Wake Forest. Man, what a game. Double overtime. Clemson gets the win, 51-45. Wake Forest had all kinds of chances to beat them. They had a chance in regulation. They couldn't do it. They got the ball in overtime, with us only down by 6 with a chance to go in and win. They could not do it. They did cover, but end of the day, Wake Forest just could not beat Clemson.
Well, I've said it many, many times. That's the difference between the haves. Wake Forest's not a have-not. Yeah. That's the difference, though, between the champs and the wannabe champs.
Yep.
The champs figure out how to win that game.
Yeah, Clemson had every chance to win. Sam Hartman played a fantastic game. They were able to run the ball all over Wake Forest, or all over Clemson, but they could not put them away.
And it's rare to be able to do that. If somebody would have told me that they could run it like they did, I would have said they might win this game.
Yep.
But the champions, the ones that have that pedigree like Clemson does, they don't ever panic and they do whatever it takes to win. And yes, they need a break or two, but those good teams take advantage of those breaks. And they did down the road. They go undefeated. Everybody will forget that they won that game by 6 points in overtime, and they were lucky to do it. So,
speaking of that, USC found a way. Oregon State could not do it. They had all kinds of chances, and as Rodney says, fight on. They're now 4-0. They were able to pull this game out. They had to win it ugly. They only get 17 points, and they win the game. I think a lot of people, including us, thought if they scored 17 in Corvallis, they would have got beat.
I did.
Got to give them credit. It was a big-time win.
It is, and 4-0 is 4-0. Doesn't matter. They're probably going to be, number 6 this week?
Yep.
And they deserve it. And that was a huge win. I thought they were going to get beat, but I knew when Oregon State scored with that much time left, it's just too much time.
Yep.
So good win for the Trojans, no doubt about it.
Big time win, and they're on the fast track right now, and they're a Utah win away. If they go down to Utah and win,
unless they stump their toes somewhere.
Yeah, they're in great shape. All right, Kentucky. They struggled for a while. We kind of thought they might, but they pull away 31-23. They got big games coming up. They're in position here at 4-0.
Yeah. They were looking ahead. I looked that up. Is it Florida they playing at? No, they've already played them. Who is? They got a tough game this week. Oh,
yes.
They go to Mississippi. Yeah.
Both teams 4-0.
Yeah.
Huge game.
Yeah. Do you know, last week, since you mentioned that, you said there were 30 undefeated teams left going into this week.
Yeah.
We're down to 19.
Yeah. Pretty incredible.
19.
And we're going to be down to about 10 after next week.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
it is.
Nikki said she's still got the Lincoln Riley rage. She cannot be that gracious. Yeah, it is what it is.
Well, I'll say this, Vicky, because this will show my rage. And I've said this repeatedly, and I'll say it again. He can win 4 national championships in a row. I don't want him back. So I'm just going to say I just don't. I've thought about this a lot today. I think Lincoln Riley will be a much better coach at USC than he ever would have been at Oklahoma.
I agree.
I really do. Now, it's going to get a little tougher when they go to the Big Ten.
Yeah.
In a year or two. That's going to make a big difference. But he's in California, which is rich recruiting grounds. He's going to get the best players out of that LA area. He's going to have powerhouse after powerhouse down there, and he's going to be his own coach. He doesn't have anyone looking over his shoulders.
That's the main key. He's got a talent pool there, and he's a very, very good recruiter. And they should be good. They should be good, and maybe, yeah. Listen, I think both teams are going to be fine.
We'll be fine.
Yeah, but yeah, he's having a lot of success. Now, it was not an impressive win, but it was a huge win.
It's a win. It doesn't matter.
Get the win.
Yeah,
yeah.
You bet.
Speaking of a huge win, this was a huge win for A&M. Arkansas had this game. They were up 14-7. They're getting ready to go up 21-7. Jefferson fumbles at the 1-yard line, and A&M takes it all the way back. I've seen this before. In a rivalry game on a neutral field, when that momentum shifts, it is almost impossible to get it back. We see it when OU and Texas play. It's undescribable when the momentum shifts. It's shifted on Arkansas big time. They went into a tailspin. However, they were able to fight back. They got it to 23-21. They're lining up to kick a field goal to take the lead with about a minute left. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It hits the top of the upright and shoots straight up in the air. No good. A&M wins at 23-21. I mean, how do you recover from this if you're Arkansas?
Man, I tell you, this is one you just I don't know. And what do they got next? Alabama.
Yeah.
So you better recover fast.
You like to read off schedules. I was looking at this today, and let me read it off here before you go on. Okay, lost A&M, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alabama's next. At Mississippi State, very, very tough game.
Yeah. At
BYU. Yeah. They needed that win last night.
Yeah, and the way they lost it, Russ or somebody on posted on Twitter a picture of the ball that hit the upright while it's in the air. Okay, after it hit the upright, there's a picture of it, and it's just straight up.
It literally goes, and I mean it like it catapults up.
I've never seen anything like it.
I hadn't either, and I've watched football. I know you have as well for many, many, many
never
years.
Seen anything like it.
I've never seen a ball do that.
That's a game you just have to say to yourself, it wasn't in the cards. It wasn't meant to be. And the play that killed them is the one you said. They go in and score, make it 21-7.
They're going to win.
With A&M's offense being what it is, and you're down 2 scores. They'd already overcome 2 scores once and got it to 1 score.
Yeah.
And they got to do it again. I don't know that they come back. I just don't know that they do. A very difficult loss for Arkansas, considering what you just said, the 3 games that are coming. That will be a fantastic coaching job to get those kids. Now, when Alabama comes to town, you're going to get their attention. They're going
to be ready for that.
They'll be ready.
But the problem is I don't know that they're capable of beating them.
No, they probably weren't, even if they were 4-0.
No.
And like you were saying in the way home, Alabama didn't give a shit who you are.
No.
They've been in every situation there is. That doesn't mean Arkansas doesn't have a chance, because they do. Yeah. Crazy stuff happens. And Alabama can turn it over, get a punt block. Just nutty stuff can happen. Yeah. But if it's a normal game, Alabama doesn't turn it over. They don't make mistakes. I just don't think Arkansas can go toe-to-toe with them.
I don't either. The key to the Arkansas season is going to be the 2 games after Alabama, or really 3. They go on the road to Auburn, too. Auburn's not very good. But those are the keys. Like, you're going to have to rebound and win those games on the road, and then you're going to be fine.
No. Arkansas's not going to win the national championship anywhere.
No. But
now you get back and you try to go 10-2, 9-3.
Exactly.
Fantastic season. Be the second best team in the SEC West.
Yeah, that's what you got to try to do. It's just a heartbreaking loss.
It is terrible loss. Horrible way to lose. Yeah,
heartbreak. My uncle texted me after the OU game. Said, "Boy, what a couple of heartbreakers." I said, "Well, yours was a heartbreaker. Ours was not a heartbreaker. Ours was just we got beat. Like,
we got our ass kicked.
I honestly, true, that didn't really bother me. Like, I could see with my own eyes we weren't the best team.
We just got thrashed.
The Arkansas game is a heartbreaker.
That's a heartbreaker.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. How about this? Tennessee finally beats Florida 38-33. Tennessee now 4-0. They still got a lot of tough games left. They're in the SEC. They're all going to be tough. But, man, Josh Heupel went into a hopeless situation at Tennessee. They had a decent season last year. They're 4-0 this year. They're going to be in the top 10.
Yep.
How about that? How about the Volunteers?
I'm telling you what. He went in there last year, and I think they were picked out of 14 teams in the SEC, 10th or 11th.
Yeah.
Because everyone left the program through the transfer portal. And they won 7 or 8 games. I think they ended up with 7. Fantastic job. And then to come out and go 4-0 to begin. And they've beat 2 decent teams. It's not, I mean, they've had 2 lightweights, but Pittsburgh on the road. Pittsburgh's pretty good, and they won. And they beat a team that's had their number for a long time, Florida. Mm-hmm. Now, listen to who they got in the next 2 games. At LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that'll be a hell of a game.
Well, LSU's playing better. Yep.
Yes, they are. And then Alabama.
Yeah.
I got them at home. Then they got a little break. Okay. They play UT Martin.
Yeah.
And then they'd have the small little task of Kentucky. And then they get to go to Georgia.
Yeah.
So enjoy your 4-0 there, Tennessee. If you come through that 9-0, you may win the national championship.
I will say this. That game against Alabama could get interesting.
It could.
They can score on about anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they might be able to give them a scare. But, I mean, they're still in trouble schedule-wise, but they're better, and that's the key.
Yeah.
They've got a shot in these
If
games.
they can win this game at LSU next week, man, that's a major accomplishment.
Rodney asked, we watch boxing. We actually, I haven't watched boxing in a long time. Yeah.
Me neither.
Can't help you with the boxing, Rodney. Ryan Stillman loves boxing. I know he does. The guy who does our theme music. So, all right, let's move on. North Carolina State beats UConn 41-10. Nothing to really discuss there. Utah 34-13. Penn State 33-14. Here's one. Mm-hmm. Oregon rallies. Look at this fourth quarter. Yeah. 29 points in the fourth quarter for Oregon. They rally in Pullman, Washington, and they beat Washington State 44-41. This was a huge win for Oregon.
Oh, you better believe it. And again, same old thing as Clemson and Wake Forest. You got champions like Oregon beating the ones that want to be there. Just can't quite get it done.
Yep.
Great game, though. My hat's off to Washington State. They played really, really well.
They just played well, played hard. They just could not put them away, and it's another theme like you're talking about.
Yeah.
We thought that Tulsa could hang with Ole Miss, and they did. 35-27, I should say. This Ole Miss team, very untested going in now to where they'll have to play Kentucky, and we'll find out a lot about them. But what do you think of Ole Miss?
Well, I don't know yet. That 10-0 advantage for Tulsa in the second half is disturbing.
Yeah.
So I don't know enough about them to make a judgment. I haven't really seen them. I think the game is in Oxford this weekend, so that'll help. If they were going to Kentucky, I would pick Kentucky. I think I still will because I just think Kentucky's a little better. We'll see. That's 2 good SEC games. Well, 3. Yeah. The SEC is going to take the spotlight this week for sure.
Yeah, just sit back and relax. This is going to be a hell of a Saturday. I'm glad we're on the road this week.
Yeah, and I think our game's at 11.
It is, yep.
So, wow, we get that travesty over with, and then we can enjoy the rest of them.
Rodney mentions that Washington State's a pretty good team. Could be a trap game for USC. It absolutely could be because they play Arizona State this week, and then Washington State comes to town, but it is the game before the game at Utah.
Yeah.
So could be a trap. You're right.
Is it in LA, though?
Yeah, but still.
It could be.
It's college football. It's a week before a big game. That's when it gets scary.
That's right.
All right, let's move on here. Baylor and Iowa State. This was a great pick by you. We all thought that Baylor should have been favored. They were not. They were underdogs. They pretty much won this one gate to wire. Baylor looked much the best the whole game.
Yeah. Baylor and Oklahoma State have moved to the top. of the Big 12 right
And
now.
guess who plays this week? Baylor and Oklahoma State.
That'll be a great game.
Another great game. Yeah, it's going to be October 1st. It's going to be a great day for football.
It really is.
Washington beat Stanford 40-22. I think Washington's decent. By the way, another battle that's going to be pretty damn good. Washington and UCLA this weekend.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Both teams 4-0. I mean, the show where we preview the weekend is going to be pretty darn good.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this Washington team has come a long way from last year. That's a good, solid win over Stanford. Stanford's not very good, but that's still, they thrashed them.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
BYU 38-24 win over Wyoming. Big win, kind of a bounce back win. Wyoming's not a bad opponent.
No.
What do you think? Like we talked about, like BYU's going to play Arkansas, right?
Mhm.
Like, are they good enough to beat in Arkansas? I know they beat Baylor, so that's probably a yes that they can.
Oh yeah, they're good enough.
Yeah.
I think. Well, we're going to find out. I mean, Arkansas might be through the ringer by the time they play them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They got Alabama. Let's say they get beat, and then they're going to have a hard time getting ready for Mississippi State, don't you think?
Yeah.
After the Alabama game and A&M.
Yep.
So say they, we just don't know what state of mind Arkansas is going to be in by that time. I think they're stronger than that. I mean, I think they'll be able to bounce back. That'll be a good game. BYU is pretty good.
Yeah, it'll be a really good game. BYU is always tough to beat, especially at home at night.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I tell you what, it was almost a great weekend.
It really was.
We cashed all of our bets on Saturday. We got Texas beat 37-34. I mean, Texas Tech kicks a field goal to make it 34-31 with like 20 seconds left. They blow it. Texas goes. I'm like, oh, they'll beat him in overtime. Texas fumbles in the first overtime, and then Tech goes and wins. So explain to me how Alabama almost lost to this Texas team.
Well, there's just some things you can't explain.
Yeah.
And that's one of them. And I don't know. That was a bad loss. A bad loss. If they want to be what they say they are, you have to win that game. And didn't do it. I didn't get to see any of it except the very last. And Tech's hard on them in Lubbock.
Yeah.
And hey, that's a great coaching job going on there too.
Yeah.
And it's a tremendous win for them.
Yeah, big win. They're 3-1. Their only loss was in North Carolina State. They went on the road to North Carolina State, who's undefeated and in the top 15. And they didn't play bad. They were in the game.
Yeah.
They couldn't beat them. You know, they never really threatened to beat them, but they were always hanging with them. So, they're doing a pretty good job at Texas Tech, and that is a massive win for sure. By the way, the Big 12, I don't think any of the teams are like great, but they all look really similar coming into week 2 of the conference. So that'll be interesting. Pittsburgh beat Rhode Island 45-24. Good win for Pitt. And then maybe one of the funnier ones, Middle Tennessee beats Miami. And not only did they beat them, they absolutely rolled them 45-31. What happened?
Can't explain this one.
Yeah.
You just can't. Again, it's every year. You nailed it when we were going on the preseason. They're rated too high every year. And there's no difference this year from any other year.
I knew they sucked. They should have beat A&M. They did not look good in that game. I did not think they'd get beat here, but they're not any good. And they're a lot like Nebraska, but they're a little better. They got more athletes, but
they're better than Nebraska.
Well, no, they're better than Nebraska, but how long has it been since they've been any good? Is what I'm saying.
A long time. I see what you're saying. Yeah. The only difference is they haven't dropped to losing seasons.
No, they've dropped to like that 7-5 mediocre range. Yeah. But
before people start arguing, well, Nebraska's in a tougher conference. No, they're not. They're in the Big 10 West.
Right.
And that's not very good. So
if I'll just do that right now. I'm going to read off the teams that are on their side. Now, remember, when Nebraska joined the Big 10, they weren't great, but they weren't bad. People
thought they would win the West. They thought they'd win the West.
Yeah, Nebraska's in there with Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, Purdue, Northwestern, and Illinois. There's nobody that old Nebraska should be afraid of.
No, that's the worst of the Big 10.
Yeah.
With the exception of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And Iowa's always hard to beat. So
Yeah. But they're Nebraska. But
Yeah.
they haven't even been. I mean, they've been clobbered most years. They did make one Big Ten championship game, I think, when Pelini was there.
they did one, and they were like 9-3, and they got beat 64-0 or something. They just got killed.
Yeah.
In that game. I do want to mention before we go on some teams that aren't in the top 25 that I think is worthy of mentioning. Okay.
Yep.
Real quick. I think you've got to mention, I've got these in order here. You got to mention the Jayhawks.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. The Jayhawks now 4-0. They beat Duke.
Sold out.
Did not rank them. They are still not ranked.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me, but they're 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
They have who they
Iowa
have?
State.
Iowa State, that's winnable. And they have TCU the next week, both of them at home. They'll sell that stadium out again. People are rock chalk Jayhawk up in Lawrence.
I've heard that this Iowa State game will be a sellout.
No, there's no question. And Florida State, are they back? They're 4-0. You know they're feeling good down in Tallahassee. They're in the ACC. They can win some games. They are getting better and better each week.
So they host Wake Forest this week. What do you think?
That's a big game, and Wake Forest has got to be a little flat after that.
This is their chance.
Yeah, it is. I would bet I'm going to pick Florida State, I think.
Okay.
Syracuse, undefeated. Shouldn't have won the other night, but they did. And, hey, you just got to win when you're Syracuse. But now their party's over. Well, they got an easy one this week. And then the bottom falls out for them. They got a really tough next 4 or 5 games. But 4-0, we watched that game, all of it, because I had money on it. And I'm telling you, them and Virginia both just knocked the tar out of each other. That was a fun game.
They battled each other. Neither one of them played like a clean game, but they battled. They battled their ass off for sure. Yeah.
Now here's a sleeper team. I don't know. They may have made the top 25 this week. Minnesota.
Yeah, they look good.
Talking about them, they drilled Michigan State, who we both said in the preseason is overrated. They obviously are. They thumped them 34-7. They usually are pretty good. You know, they're hard to beat. Minnesota is. The guy's a good coach, and watch out for them because they're in the West. And
they've got a great shot.
If they keep playing like that.
Yeah.
The key is I don't know who they play when they go to the other side. You know, they might say they got Ohio State and Penn State or Ohio State and Michigan. Well, that's 2 losses probably, and some other team might slip in ahead of them because they don't play them. You know,
they don't have either one.
Okay, well, see, suddenly you got to look at them as the favorite on that side. Let's see the next one. Big win for Notre Dame.
Yeah, it was.
Huge win for Notre Dame.
It was.
Yeah, Jason, thank you for that one. I didn't look good for a while. Appalachian State had them 28-10. This is a good team. James Madison is a good team. Kind of what I don't know who they play. I haven't previewed next week. Watch out. That could be a letdown game for them.
So let me jump in on that one real quick. There are only 2 undefeated schools in the lower conferences, not the Power 5. One is James Madison, and the other is Coastal Carolina. So both got nice cashes for us this weekend. So
and they're both in the same conference, aren't they?
Yes. James Madison plays Texas State, by the way, at home.
Okay,
so that should
good.
be a good game for them to kind of rebound.
Yeah, Texas State's not very good. Yeah. Another one, the Notre Dame game, like I said, that's a great win for them. Looks like we got it going. UCLA's undefeated at 4-0. And watch out for them. They haven't been real impressive, but they're 4-0, and they're well coached. Another one, let's see. Here's one that no one pays any attention to.
Mm-hmm.
UNLV is 3-1.
Yeah, huge win over Utah State.
You know, last year they were getting better towards the end of the season. In fact, I cashed a best bet on them. I can't remember who they was. They beat, but they're getting better. 3-1. They got to be flying high out there for them. Another team in the Big 10 that I think deserves some recognition is Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
They're 3-1. They could easily be 4-0.
Oh, they should be 4-0. They played an absolutely atrocious game at Indiana. They would have been 4-0. Yeah.
So Bielema has done a great job. They're on that weak side of the West. they might have a winning season. They got a shot. They're
Yep.
pretty solid, and they're well coached. And we got to mention the Hawkeyes.
Mm-hmm.
We made fun of them and made fun of them and made fun of them. Guess what? They've scored 54 points in the last 2 games, which is about normal for them. And they went to Rutgers and beat an undefeated team easily
Mm-hmm.
on Saturday. Guys, the guy's a coach. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, they got Michigan coming into Iowa.
They're not going to beat them. But
No, probably not.
No.
We
But-
should mention North Dakota State. They bounced back after getting beat to Arizona last week.
Yep. That's a big win. Good win.
Good win for them. They're right where they probably need to be. Also, you mentioned that Coastal Carolina and James Madison are in the same conference. That
Mhm.
conference being the Sun Belt. They will play the last game of the season, November.
Oh, wow.
26th. Yeah.
That would be.
So-
I wish they played on a week when there weren't any big games at the upper level where they game day could go there. That'd be pretty cool.
So they both have big games against Power 5 schools still left.
Oh,
James
okay.
Madison will go to Louisville November 5th.
Okay.
Shit, I could go to that game. That's Breeders' Cup weekend.
Well, that would be on a
and then,
third. That'll be on a Thursday. No, you said the 5th
yeah.
in Breeders' Cup. It's the 1st, isn't it?
No, Breeders' Cup weekend's the first Saturday in November. That would
Sure.
be the 5th, November 5th.
Oh, I'm thinking October's the 1st.
Yeah, November 5th. And then Coastal Carolina goes to Virginia on the 19th of November. So
Okay.
there you go.
They can win both of those. They can win those games. So
Yep, they could win them.
hey, that's
All
fun.
right, let's turn our attention to horse racing for just a second
Okay.
before we get off the air here. The Remington Park Oaks is getting ready to run, so why don't we just talk about it? I can't pull it up, but we'll kind of talk through it as it's going here. Juju's Map 1-5 on the board, hasn't ran well last couple of races. Key clash drop here though, so we'll see if Juju's Map can get this pick 4 kicked off here, or will there be an upset? We'll see what happens. They're on the gate, they're off. She did not break well at all, and Juju's Map is towards the back, going to try to get her angled over. She's going to sit about 3rd or 4th, so it's that horse that likes to be on the lead, not going to be on the lead. And now, actually, she's going to shoot up the rail, and she got shut off, and now she gets through. Wow, eventful trip, but she
But
does have
at
the
the lead.
position now in the front. So Juju's Map in front. It looks like the 3, Free Like a Girl, is going to be second here.
It's
So
going to be
let's see
hard
who
to
wins
catch
this
her.
thing. Asmussen's got the 6, and that horse is sitting in 3rd right now. Asmussen hasn't had much success today, so we'll
Well,
see.
he doesn't have his good ones. He doesn't have even the B team down there, I don't think.
Yeah, Juju's Map 24.46 the opening quarter. I'm surprised it wasn't faster. She kind of now 49 for the half. She has no excuse from here. She had a rough beginning and rough to get back into that kind of spot, but she's in good shape now. The 3 is really breathing down her neck though, so this is going to get interesting.
How good is the 3?
3 was definitely the challenger, and 3's gone. 3 just passed her like she's standing still, but here come all the rest of them. So we'll see what happens here. Hits Pricey Legacy for C.R. Trout, making a huge move. C.R. Trout's trying to win his 2nd stakes race. That horse is right up on the throat latch of the 3 and may go right on by. Yep.
So Juju's Map sucked.
Juju Map off the board, and we are looking at an 11-1 shot in the Remington Park Oaks. It looks like, oh my goodness, Juju's Map has re-rallied
Oh,
all of a sudden. She's up into 3rd. She's not going to do any better than that. Hits Pricey Legacy for C.R. Trout wins it. And Free Like a Girl 2nd. Juju's Map 3rd after fading.
I can't believe a Trout horse at Remington was 11-1.
Well, she didn't have a lot of form.
Okay.
And, you know,
It sounds like Juju's Map's got some problems.
yeah. So it was a exacta and trifecta if you boxed our top 3 choices. We had it 5-3-4, and it came in 4-3-5. So that's good news. Yeah, really good performance. We had the 4 in the 3rd spot. I just did not think she would be good enough to beat the 3 or the 5, but she was. So congratulations, man. That was a big win for C.R. Trout.
Oh, yeah. He is a legend in Oklahoma.
Yep, big win, 2nd win on the card, as I said.
Yeah. Did he win that? Was it stakes race? He had another stakes win?
He won. Well, I'm sorry, third win on the card. He won the second race.
So he won that second race?
He won the second race. He won the
should have made
seventh race. And he won this race right here.
I should have made that my best bet.
Jesse just hit the try in that one. Congratulations.
Right,
on that one, Jesse. That's going to pay pretty well, 11-1 on top.
You bet.
Would have been nice to get the 5 out of the number, but you may not have hit it at the 5s out of the number. So,
yeah, it's true. Absolutely.
Yeah,
so.
All right. What about Taba? What did you think of Taba yesterday?
Oh, impressive. And finally won a race he had to win.
Yeah.
To where now he can legitimately be mentioned as one of the best.
Yeah. Maybe I should pull that race up. We'll watch.
He had to do it. He had to win a race where there was good competition, and there definitely was.
Mm-hmm.
And he won it impressively. And so now going forward, he's one to watch. And you see these horses every once in a while, they mature late. And he's quirky, as you guys say.
Uh-huh.
And it's taken a while maybe for him to figure out what he's supposed to do.
Let me get to where it's a little bit bigger on the screen. We'll watch it here. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's see. There we go. That's what I wanted. All right. Well, we'll take a look at this one, and then we will get out of here. Let's see if I can get this to work. That's what I wanted. All right. So this is Taba in the Pennsylvania Derby here. The biggest thing we were all kind of worried about before the race, it was really speed favoring track. And Mike Smith did a good job right out of the gate. Get him out, get him in position. I thought that was an impressive move by him. And White Barrio, for some reason, was in front in this race. I thought that was really surprising.
Yeah.
And the other big surprise and a big key, Cyberknife. He was way off of it in this race. What do you think they were doing? He was just not interested, maybe?
Yeah, it could be. You never know. In White Barrio, cool looking horse.
He's a cool horse. He ran a much better race than he's been running. Still didn't hit the board, but he was better. Simplification is the 9 horse. He was better as well, but neither one of them could really hang around. Now you see Zandon, he's back here third last. And I said, this was a speed favoring track. Zandon makes a nice move here. He ran a good race, just not quite good enough.
He always does.
Yeah. So with Taba, he doesn't really like running inside of horses. Bob Baffert made the comment after the race that he was kind of worried because you see him right here. He's starting to back off of it a little bit. They said he just will not run inside other horses. Mike Smith did a really good job, though. He saved ground, and then when it was time to run, he was able to swing him out. And here he goes. He's going to swing him out here. And right there, it's like, we were driving, and I told you right there, I said, this race is over.
Yep. Mike Smith's pretty good about going from the outside. I've seen him do that a few times on a horse named Zenyatta.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So Taba finishes up here pretty strong. You see Zandon, he's on the inside here. He never really left that rail. He just kind of rallied right up that rail, hugged it.
Good.
Yeah, and he was able to get there. But look at Taba just stride away.
Oh, yeah.
He looked fantastic.
And that looks like a stud right there.
Yep. He looked good. He will go on to the Breeders' Cup Classic now. That's the good news, I guess. Bad news, if you like him, well, he's probably going to have to face Flightline, and that's not going to work out very well. So, anyway, all right. You got anything else before we?
One little thing on jockeys too. I think this is kind of funny.
Okay.
At least I haven't read anything today on Twitter. Had Taba lost, it would have been Mike Smith's fault.
Totally.
He won. I'm not hearing Mike Smith get a whole lot of credit. It's the horse. Fantastic horse.
Well, if you read our Twitter feed, I made sure to point out.
Oh, you did.
That this was a great ride.
Yeah.
And listen, all my group texts that had horse racing people were scared to death about the ride.
Right.
What
And
might
had they
happen.
lost, it would have been his fault.
Well, I told you, though, when he got him out, I said, whatever happens, happens now. But that's exactly what we all were afraid he wouldn't do, and he did it. So now the horse has to do it. That's just the thing. That's what people, lose sight of. There's two parts of it.
That's right.
The jockey has to get them in the position they need to be in.
And the horse has to run.
But the horse has to do the job. So he saved the ground. He swung him out. He got him to the clear. There's nothing Mike can do then.
No.
then it's all the horse,
That's
right?
A jockey is like a coach.
Yeah.
You get them where they need to be, then they got to execute.
Yeah. There's
And
two.
sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Yeah. There's
Well,
two
I think a
sides of it.
jockey's a little harder because you got those animals all around you, and you got to make these split-second decisions with your life on the line.
Yeah. Yep.
So-
There's definitely two sides of it, and that's the other part of it. That the horse has to do the job.
Yeah.
Once the jockey's done his job, and so
Yep.
it all worked out.
I got one little interesting question.
Okay.
We don't have time for very many of these. And this one's not that good. But anyway, we all love TV. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there's shows we all love. Okay. Is there any show that you can remember, a great show that you loved, that ended and it was still as good as it was when you liked it the best?
Ooh.
Most of the time, when the great shows end, it's time.
Yeah.
End. I thought Seinfeld was time to end.
Well, it was
I thought it got a little silly in the
Yeah.
later ones.
I would say Breaking Bad for sure.
They had run out of stuff there, hadn't they?
No, I don't think so. I think they.
Oh,
could've
you
went-
think that one should have kept going?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, there's been spinoffs from that show because people wanted more of it.
Yeah. I thought The Office, it was time to go.
It was time to go. Yeah.
When The Office lost Steve Carell,
Yeah.
they couldn't replace him. And you see that in shows quite a bit. When
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen left 2.5 Men, it was
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Because Carell was the whole show, in my opinion. He wasn't the whole show, but he was the show that he was the glue
Mm-hmm.
that kept it together. And the same thing with who the heck I was talking about there. I haven't had much sleep.
Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie. There's one show that I loved that I thought was still just as good when it ended, if not better than when it started, and that was Raymond.
Yeah.
I thought Everybody Loves Raymond kept about as good as it could be the whole time. I thought that show was excellent. I remember the first time I ever watched it, I thought, this is a little hokey. And when it first started, it was on Friday nights. And that's a night no one watches TV because high school sports are usually on Friday night and people aren't home. And it didn't have much of an audience. And I don't know, I was home a couple of Fridays there and I watched it and it was great. I loved it. And then they moved it and it really hit its stride. But
What happens, I think, with shows is you do a show and it's a season and then you just pray you get another season.
Yeah.
Right. And then once it's popular, you just keep making more seasons because you keep getting the money.
Yeah.
I think with a show like Breaking Bad, they knew the ending.
Yeah.
Right? And so they just built from that and they knew they had an end date. It wasn't, we're going to do 20 seasons if they let us type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple like Friends. This one, I never watched Friends much. I never did. Murder, She Wrote was pretty much, I don't know, Jason, you mean it should have ended? Or
You asked the question, what's a show that was just as good
Oh, okay.
when it ended as when it started? And they said,
I would
Friends,
agree. Yeah.
Murder, She Wrote.
King of
King of
Queens
Queens.
was pretty good.
Yeah.
The thing with Seinfeld, I thought they made Kramer too silly the last season or so.
Seinfeld was not good the last season or two.
No, it got too out there. Got a little
It was
bit.
not good.
No. But anyway, I thought Cheers was pretty good throughout.
Yeah.
Cheers seemed to keep it fresh. They would lose people, but they would replace them with people that were really good. So
Yeah.
it's hard to keep a show relevant. It really
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I think the actors get a little tired of playing the same character, I think
Well, the actors get other jobs if
They
the
do.
show is successful. That's another problem.
that's true. So anyway.
Yeah. That is a big
All right.
A show that really fell off was Parks and Rec. That show
Definitely.
for a couple seasons was great, and they completely ran out of stuff to do.
They did. And I thought when they got her hooked up with a boyfriend, that's when it suffered.
Yeah, it wasn't as good. I agree.
No.
I agree. It was funny for a while.
I loved it. Yeah.
And it
After we
crashed.
watched The Office on Netflix, because we didn't watch it when it was on TV, regular TV, we started watching it on Netflix, and then we went to Parks and Rec. We just died laughing at some of that stuff. It was so good, but it did. I don't think we ever finished the series. I don't think we did.
No.
I don't think we ever finished The Office either. But,
yeah, it gets bad after about the 7th season. Yeah.
Okay, one more. What are the 3 best birthday years?
3 best birthday years.
What are my own birthdays?
21.
This one's easy. Yeah.
21, 18,
Mhm.
18, 21, and 16. Yeah, 16, 18, 21. Yeah.
After 21, there's no reason to have a birthday.
No, not really.
No.
Extremely pointless. Birthday is extremely pointless after 21. 16 is a big one.
Yeah, you get your driver's license.
18 is not as much as 16 or 21.
18, you get to go into casinos now, which is big time for around here.
Yeah, that's true.
But you're right. Well, 18 is when you kind of officially become an adult.
Yeah, but that's not,
It's not. I agree, but I would have to put it third.
Yeah.
21 is you are an adult. You could drink legally.
Yeah.
But 16, it might be the best.
It has to be. 16 has to be number 1.
You know, in this world today, there's one thing that you have to learn to do, and that's drive a car. You have to learn to drive a car. It's just you just have to, because you can't exist. That's a good one, Jason. 100. If you
100.
make it to 100, that is a milestone, no doubt about it.
I gotta think 18's better than 100.
Yeah, because at 100, you may not know who you are.
That's just it. I think at 100, you're done.
And you may not care at 100 whether you make it to 100.
Exactly. You may be 100, but you don't even know you turned 100 or care that you turned 100.
All of your relatives that are still alive, all 2 of them,
Right.
will be glad that it's 100. So you made it to 100. They'll think that's a big deal. And it is. That's a tremendous accomplishment. But yeah, I had a quick kid in summer school this summer. A really nice kid. And smart and everything, but kind of shy, introverted. But I always bonded with him when I had him in class. And I saw him and I said, "Did you get your driver's license?" He goes, "No, I'm scared." And he's 17. I said, "You're never going to make it if you don't get your driver's license. You have to get your driver's license, because that's a small community. There's no jobs there. You're going to have a car to go to work somewhere." So I begged him to come to driver's ed. And he was scared to death. I said, "Well, me and you will just go out by ourselves.
Yeah.
If you can't do it, I won't bug you anymore." Because he didn't think he could do it. And I said, "Why can't you? Have you ever driven?" "Yeah, once. I almost hit a tree." I said, "Everybody almost hits something the first time they drive. You're not uncommon."
Yeah. Yeah.
So we went over to the parking lot at the football field, and we just went round and round in circles. He did great. By the time the summer was over, he was pretty good. I don't know if he could get his license. I think he needed a little more practice. But I hope he gets it, because you've got to have a driver's license. You
Have to have a license. Yep, you do.
You have
No
to.
doubt.
Yep.
No doubt.
Can't make it without one, unless you live in New York City and you can take the subway or the bus or something.
That's right. Yes, we don't do that.
All righty.
All right. Well, good luck, Jason, to get to 100. Hopefully, I'm still around if you get to 100.
You bet. Well, I don't know how old's Jason.
I'd be a guess. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. You're not that old. I think I'll be dead if you make it to 100. Let's put it that way.
He's younger than you.
Now, you're not younger than me, I don't think. You might be. Hell, I don't know. I'd say you're 40, right, Jason? Maybe? I don't know. Something around there. But anyway, I'll probably be dead either way. So, all right. On that positive note,
Thank you.
we're getting out of here. All right. Friday, right? We're going to do show Friday this week?
Yeah, we're taking off. He is 49, Aaron.
49. Jason, you look good for 49, brother.
That's fantastic. I've seen your picture, and I can't believe you're 49.
Dude, no, that's shocking to me. You're doing it good. Whatever you're doing, keep it up, Jason.
Keep it up. Everybody says I look a lot younger than what I am, too. And that always makes me feel good when they say it.
Well, I mean it when I tell him, though. That's the thing.
You don't ever tell me that, though. So
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true too.
everybody else does, but you don't.
No.
Sandy and I are heading out in the morning for one of the most beautiful places in the world, Estes Park, Colorado. We go up in the mountains for a couple days and chill out and see some wildlife. It's gonna be fun.
Man, 49. You give me hope, Jason. Hopefully, I'm looking
Yeah,
as
look,
good.
49
as
to me.
you as 49. That's awesome.
That's what all that cougar hunting will do.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. All right. Yes, you're going
All
to
right.
the park. Should be great. We'll be back Friday for our show instead of Thursday. Yeah, that's it. All right, guys. We're leaving.
See you guys.
We'll see you next time.
This is Due to Bet Sports. Due to Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Due to Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Due to Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Holzman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.